So now it is time for you to practice crafting your personal message of recovery. You're going to have access to some scripts that are created by Faces and Voices of Recovery, and then some that we've adapted to make the most sense for allies. Before we practice our personal recovery messages, I want to leave you with this quote from an article written by premier recovery researcher John Kelly and his colleagues. And this article states that addiction is not a choice, but our language and terminology and how we as a society describe it and those suffering from it is. Addiction is not a choice, but our language is. Furthermore, because alcohol and other drug use conditions are not a trivial matter, but rather a major contributor to premature mortality, morbidity, and disability in the United States and in many English-speaking nations around the world, we need to be mindful and deliberate about using and avoiding certain language and to use agreed upon terms consistently to aid precise clinical and scientific communication. So it's important that we are mindful and deliberate in the language that we use, and we use the agreed upon terminology consistently so that when folks hear this message of recovery, they hear it in a similar way. So it strikes that emotional chord that significantly influences the perception that people have and the decisions that they will make, always being mindful of the hope of recovery. So I leave you with this once again. Hi, my name is Eric Beeson, and I'm a person in long-term recovery. And what that means to me is I haven't had to take a drink or a drug to feel normal since July 21st, 2006. My addiction took so many things away from me, but my recovery has provided me with blessings beyond measure, things I would have never even known to think about or dream about before. I have been able to achieve because of my recovery. I'm able to contribute to my life, the life of my friends, my family, my partner, and my community in ways that, again, I didn't even know were possible before. And some of the greatest blessings in my recovery has been the ability to give back and to be a face and voice of recovery. In my work with the Spartan Recovery Program, in my work with this Recovery Zone program, and beyond as a continued advocate and ally for all people in recovery. And I'm sharing this with you today so that, again, you can see the hope in recovery, and hopefully you will continue to share that hope of recovery with everyone that you come into contact with. So what I want you to do is identify your connection to recovery. Pick the most appropriate script or scripts that you want to work on. Write your personal recovery message. Practice giving your personal recovery message. And finally, keep telling your recovery message to as many people as often as you can, as loud as you can. So now take some time to craft your message. Be sure that you are writing this in a way that is meaningful to you and in a way that you can and will share it with others. And it is not necessary for you to disclose your recovery status if you don't want to. We are all allies, and at a minimum, you can complete this activity using the ally script. So at a minimum, please take a moment to complete the ally script. If you have time and you want to complete some of the other ones, then feel free to do so. But I do think it's really, really important that we take this moment to practice, because the more we practice giving this message, the easier it's going to be, and the more willing we're going to be to do it.